Hello, everyone. This is Chad Hill, and I have Adam Stetzer on the phone as well.
Hey everybody, glad you could join us for the ride today.
And we are going to be talking about how to demo the dashboard today. We spent a lot of time talking about features, and we've had some requests recently to actually step back and walk you through the dashboard as we would do it with a direct customer. So I'm going to use our VetHubs demonstration today, and I'm just going to run through a demo. I'm going to keep it limited to about 30 minutes, which is usually a good target to have when you're doing a demonstration with a customer because that leaves plenty of time for questions and interruptions along the way. So without really any further ado, I'm going to set this up and get going. Okay, so the scenario I have is that I basically have qualified a lead and set up a in-face or over the phone meeting with someone who's interested in learning about how our SEO services, in this case, VetHub's SEO services, can help drive business to their veterinary clinic. So the scenario I'm going to run through is I'm pretending I'm talking to a veterinarian out there, and I'm going to use the company VetHubs as the demonstration. So I'm going to start now and time myself. Thanks again for joining me today. I wanted to spend about 30 minutes walking through our approach to online marketing, and I want to use our software to guide us through how our online marketing services work. So I'm logged in today, and I'm actually looking at our website, vethubs.com, because one of the things that we do is we use search engine optimization to actually find leads and drive our own business. So it's a great example of how what we're doing can also be used to help you drive your business. So I've started today on our home tab, and this is really going to be the overall summary of how your website and your online marketing campaigns are doing. At the top of the screen, we start off and we have a traffic trend graph or chart here that shows how traffic is trending over the past 12 months. And we've broken that traffic into two categories that are very important to understand. The first one is non-organic visits, and the second is organic visits. And to break that down for you, really non-organic visits are anyone who comes directly to your website or who maybe clicks on is referred from Facebook or Twitter or any other website that you might have a link on that comes to your website. Organic visits are really focused primarily on people coming from the search engines, and then specifically within the search engines on the organic, the non-paid links, the primary part of the search results page. And just as an example, I'll show you quickly how that looks. So the organic visits would be anything starting with Vet Network down, including Vet Network, VetHubs, our company, and then all of the paid results here up at the top, these top three and the ones on the right-hand side would be counted back in the non-organic visits. So you can see here that over time, that number has gone up, and there is some seasonality to our business. We tend to have more people who kind of are interested in getting new websites at the beginning of the year and then sort of towards the end of the year. So you can see that we had a seasonal uptick here in January, and then things start to settle down a bit as we move into the summer. But within organic visits, there's actually one important metric that we really want to focus on, and that's the number of non-branded organic traffic that we're driving to your website. So let's step back for a minute and just make sure everyone understands what non-branded organic traffic is. Non-branded traffic is anybody who's finding your business by searching on your category. So in this case, VetHubs, we do websites, veterinary websites. Some people from trade shows that we've gone to or advertisements that we've placed know us by our name, VetHubs. But a lot of people that find us actually come to us because they're looking for veterinary websites or vet marketing or vet search engine optimization. So those are non-branded terms. And that's really what we can help drive more of. That's what is really, really good about search marketing is actually finding those category terms where there's existing traffic. People are going every day and they're searching for those terms and getting you placed well in the search results so that you can capture some of that existing demand. So you can see here that when people search for veterinary websites, they're seeing our website, VetHubs.com, at the top of the results. Now let's contrast that for a minute with branded traffic. So like I said, we do go occasionally to trade shows and we place some advertisements, but there's not a lot we can do to increase the number. Well, the way that we would increase the number of people searching for our brand name would be to continue to do more advertising or more trade shows, or encouraging our current customers to refer their friends in and mention VetHubs. So again, I want to make sure that we draw that we make that very clear what we're focused on as part of a search engine optimization campaign, and that's really driving those non-branded organic visits. So let's take a further look then at what we do to actually drive those non-branded visits. So the first thing that we do is there's really something you need to know about that basically there are two primary things that you can do to move your website up in the rankings on any keyword. The first thing are things that you do to your website, and we call that on-site optimization. And the second thing are things that you do to build links to your website, and we call that off-site optimization. A number of industry experts sort of agree that when you look at those two factors, on-site optimization is necessary but not sufficient. So in other words, if you just change the content on your website and the title tags on the website and other things on your website, it's not enough to actually move you up in the search rankings. You need to also have off-site optimization in order to build the authority of your website to help position it better in the search engines. And in terms of the relative importance of those, we say that it's about 70% of your site's ability to rank comes from those off-site optimization tactics, in other words, the links that you build to your website, and about 30% comes from what you do on your website. So what HubShop does in order to, or VetHubs does in order to help you improve your position on those keywords is we do look at your website and we give you a report that tells you what changes you need to make to your website in order to improve the likelihood of it ranking on those terms. So we give you a report and we help you, if you request it, actually make those changes. But the other thing we do is we find places where we can build links and build buzz for your website so that links follow, and then ultimately your domain authority goes up and your website moves up in the rankings. So let's talk a minute about some of the metrics that we track in order to show how we're doing at improving your site's likelihood of ranking on target keywords. You'll see on the screen here that we have 4 metrics that we're looking at. One is Moz rank, the other one is domain authority, 2 of the 4. Those 2 metrics are really good at sort of showing how authoritative or how likely your website is to be able to rank on terms. If you were to launch a new website tomorrow, the Moz rank and the domain authority would be more than likely 0. What this is showing is that Moz rank is measured on the scale from 0 to 10, and domain authority is 0 to 100. And so you really want, ideally, your website to be as high up on both of those. The Moz rank on this particular case is very high. It's almost a 6. And the domain authority is very respectable at a 41. And we're going to take in a minute, we're going to actually compare domain authority to some other sites, because what's ultimately important is how does your website's domain authority compare to your competitors on some of your target keywords. Okay, so the other 2 things that you see on the screen are external links and root links. And the one I'm going to focus mostly on is root links, because what that's measuring is the number of websites that link to your website. And so external links, whereas external links may be the number of total links, so you might have on one website, you may have 300 links. That's not quite as good as actually having one link on 300 different websites. And I think we can all sort of agree that it's harder to actually get a link on lots of websites than it is to get, for example, a link in the sidebar or in the footer or the header on one website and get 300 links. So one of the things we track is we track how many root links do we get over time, because we know that root links are directly correlate with domain authority. So the more root links that we get, we can see time and time again that that is what ultimately is pushing the domain authority up, which then in turn is what allows or enables your website to rank on your target keywords. So those are important metrics that we're going to be able to track over time. The other thing that we're showing on this screen is actually where the keywords that we're currently targeting and then where they currently rank. So let's take an example of veterinary websites. I'm going to click on the chart here and actually get a full history of where we've ranked since January 2010. So you can see that when we started this campaign back in at the end of 2009, we were in position 15 or 16. And so this has been a term that we've worked on. You can see that over time we've moved down, and every once in a while you see that things might move back up for a little while. But generally speaking, if you drew a line here to evaluate the slope, you'd see that we had a great downward run. And when I mean downward, what that means is we've moved from page 2, where position 16 would be, because there's 10 results per page, all the way down to page 1, and then have been hanging out in somewhere around, sometimes 1, 2, 3, but right at the top of the page above the fold, which is where most of the clicks actually happen. Now you might want to know, well, what did you do? So let's go back and talk about some of the tactics that we would need to do in order to move that website from page 2 down to page 1 in position 3. So we talked about on-site and off-site optimization. So first of all, from an on-site optimization standpoint, we would have created a report and we would have made those changes to the website, and then also encouraged you to keep fresh content on the website. And if you don't have the resources to blog once a month or twice a month, you can always hire us to help you do that, because we can help write relevant information that goes onto your website. But the other thing we did is, over that same period of time, we created other content, articles and blogs, and we posted those on different sites in order to generate some buzz and also to create backlinks to the VetHub's website, so that when Google looked at and the other search engines looked at how many links came to that website, they saw those root links going up, which improved the domain authority, which then allowed us to rank on the target phrases. So let's take a minute and actually look at some of the content and submissions and how actually we do that. So I'm going to click on the Content tab here. This screen shows all
While
of
you're waiting
the...
for that to resolve, are you looking for questions to be held till the end, or you want them as you go along?
Let's just wait till the end.
Okay.
Okay, so we now see all of the content that we've written over the past, in this case, few years on this particular term. And you can see that we've written 29 articles on Find a Vet, or 12 on vet marketing, 10 on blogs, 10 blogs, and 5 blurbs. But we can actually click over here to the content library. It may take a minute for you to catch up, but you can see then all of the detailed information that we've written. So I'm going to click on this one, for example, veterinary marketing firms tailor their strategies to your needs. And you can see an article here that was created. Now what we do is we take this article, because remember, this is content we're creating in order to find places that are looking for interesting information that can be posted on websites. And what we want to do is, in exchange for writing a good article, we want to find a place where we can put this that will then allow us to link back from that website to our client's website as attribution. So we give it to a website that's going to be seen by people. It's going to be on a website where there's other information about other topics, and then on that website it's going to link back. So let's take a look at how that actually looks. So we're going to click on submissions here. And I'm going to take a look at this presenttensemagazine.org website. And so here you go. Here's an example. There's a website, presenttensemagazine.org, and you can see that there's now an article about veterinary website design. Now you'll see here that we've have pictures inserted to keep it visually interesting and engaging for the person reading the article. And if you wanted to read this article, you could. You'd see that it obviously looks like it's about 200, it's about 300 words or so, and it's going to talk about, again, veterinary website design and why a veterinarian needs to redesign their website, something that we can help them with. There's a couple other examples. This one's on a blog site, Coffee and News. There's a picture of a dog looking at a computer. Again, the target keyword here is going to be vet websites. And I'll show you one more example. So here's another one. Get all the information you need from vet websites. And again, that's going to link back to the VetHub's website with this information from here. Okay, so again, what that's going to do, going back to our analytics tab, is that's going to be over time building links back to our website, vethubs.com, and that's going to help move the number of root links up, and that's going to help build the domain authority, which in turn is going to help move the rankings up so that we ultimately get traffic. So the last thing on the screen that I wanted to cover was, again, sort of correlating that over time, you can see this blue bar is the number of non-branded organic visits. Now, in the case of VetHubs, not a lot of people know us, but people search for veterinary websites and vet marketing, and we're right there in the results, and they can come through. So we're primarily getting non-branded organic visits, and that's what you're seeing here in this blue bar. The other thing to mention is down here on the right, we actually break it down a bit at a bit more granular level and tell you specifically where that traffic is coming from. So you can see here that we have this in the last 30 days, we've had 20 visits coming in from veterinary websites. And we actually underline that keyword because we want to say this is one of the keywords that we're actively working on over in this part of the campaign. So in terms of writing content and building links to the website. So that's what that information is. Now, the final thing I want to show you before I move on to some of the other features that we have is to talk a little bit about our workflow screen. Now, one of the things that we really focus on here at VetHubs is making sure that all of our work is very transparent and very accountable, that we do what we say that we're going to do. So you always have the ability to log into your dashboard and see what work has been completed and also what work is left to be completed. So I can sort this filter here, this table. You can see all the different blog posts and social bookmarks and other things that have been done on this campaign. And I can also click Not Started and see other work that's still outstanding that will be worked on shortly. Now I want to take a minute and walk you through the pay-per-click tab, because in addition to search engine optimization, which is again a great way of capturing demand that's already out there for the category that you're in as a veterinarian, people looking for veterinarians, pay-per-click is another way to get presence in that search results screen. So you can see here at the top of the screen that in addition to our placement in position 3 for VetHubs, we also have a pay-per-click ad where we advertise for websites. And you can see this is really a share of search play where we want to get as many places on this page as possible so that if someone's eye is up here, we have a spot, but if someone's looking down the page in the organic results, we also have a spot. Now generally, just to put the two in perspective, pay-per-click is a tool that's great because you can get it up and running very, very quickly, but the downside is that you always pay for every single click every time a visit comes to your website. And the other downside that we've seen over time is that the cost per click, or the number of people who want to get their ads in those places, the competition's going up, which means that people are bidding up the cost of those keywords. And so it might be that this year you're paying $2 a click, but next year you could be paying $4 or $5 a click. So pay-per-click is great to get a quick start and get your ad up in the search results page, But again, the nice thing about SEO is that once you earn that spot, you're not paying for every click that comes from the spot, but it does take some time to get there in the first place. And so you really have to kind of look at the cost benefit and the return on investment that you can get from search engine optimization. But if you do decide to do pay-per-click, we have a great product that allows you to advertise on your selected keywords, and we can keep track of how much money is being spent and how many leads you're getting from your pay-per-click investment. So one of the things that's great about VetHubs is that we start and require that everyone have a shared goal for their paid search program. And you can either say, I want to maximize clicks to my website, or ideally, because this is a better way to run a pay-per-click program, you can have us focus on maximizing the number of conversions for your budget. So in this particular case, we're focused on our goal is to get 2 conversions a month for $200. So we're willing to spend about $100 per conversion, because we know that if we can get someone in, that may sound expensive, but we know that if we can get a new veterinarian in like yourself, that there's a number of services that you'll need in terms of building websites and maybe running a search engine optimization program. So that investment is worth it, because it's something that if we get a qualified lead, we know that we can make the money back over time. Now, that's very much the same way as it would be for you with a new veterinarian client coming in. You know that it may be that you don't make the money back on the first visit, but over time, that client who stays with you over several years would be worth the cost per lead that you're willing to pay. So all that's being tracked, and then we have a team of AdWords certified analysts that are managing this program and making sure that every click that comes in is for the right kind of keywords, and that over time we're hitting your goal of getting you those $100 conversions. Some other details on this screen that we're showing here are the top keywords that are being searched and the actual cost. So this month for veterinary websites we spent $7.61, vet websites $6.78, and on down the list. You can actually again see all the details over here under recent notes of what is being done on the account, and an analyst will keep track of that in this section here. Now I'm going to go on to our sales screen, because I think this is a really great feature that fits both very well with SEO and pay-per-click. The sales screen is really all about tracking the number of phone calls and web leads you're getting from your online marketing campaigns. And so what we've done here is that at the end of the day, what you care about is making sure that you're getting new business from your online marketing campaigns. Now you might also be concerned with the rankings, which we talked about earlier, and you might be concerned about the traffic, which we talked about, that comes from those rankings and from the paid search that you're running. But ultimately, where the rubber meets the road is whether or not this program is actually generating leads for your business. So we want to be a partner in that, and that's why we built the sales screen. And what we can do here is we can actually allow you to see leads that are coming in from the website, your website, and also even listen to phone calls. So let's take a look, for example, at phone calls. Now, what you're seeing here is an example here of all of the different phone calls that have been coming in the last on this campaign, and you have the ability to click on each one and listen to it. And then you have the ability to actually score whether or not that was a good phone call or a bad phone call. So if it was a new lead, you can click good and update the phone call. If you click it's a bad lead, it doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't someone calling that it was truly bad or a crank call. It could be that someone was calling for a follow-up service inquiry or was going to schedule a follow-on appointment. So it's not necessarily a new client, but you don't want it to count as a new client in terms of evaluating your online marketing campaign. So you can score it as a bad call, and then it doesn't get counted in the totals. So this is a great feature. Now let me also show you the leads. Now this is an example of this is all of the web lead forms that have been completed from your website. So you can see that just today I have 3 new leads from 3 different veterinary clinics: Chicago Vets, Orlando Vets, and Daytona Vets. So I can actually click through any one of these and pick up contact information so that I can return the phone call or email them back. So in this case, I have an email address for mssmith@cvets.com. So I might send this person an email and see if I can answer any questions, and then I can make a note to myself that sent response customer will follow up. Now, if you really want to, you can even actually use this tool as a way to manage future follow-up dates. But in this particular case, I just want to make some notes on the campaign or on the lead here, and then I can follow up and look at this later. So that's a sales screen. And again, the main point here is that this is a great way of tracking the leads that you're getting from your online marketing campaigns and really from your website in general, because there will be times where people come to your website because they see your sign or because they are referred by a friend or a current customer, and you'd be able to track and monitor where those leads are coming from right here in this screen. I also want to show you our email system, because another very important part of maximizing the return on investment of your online marketing campaign is that once you get those rankings and that traffic and that turns into leads on your website, you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to actually convert those leads into new customers. One of the best tools for doing that, in addition to obviously following up via phone or email as the person had indicated, is to enroll that person in autoresponder campaigns or other email marketing campaigns where you can then nurture them. Because you probably know very well, and at least our experience in the vet space is that when someone's looking to hire a new vet, they're probably calling 2 to 3 other vets. And so really you're in a dance at that point, a dance-off really, to try to help them make up their mind that you're going to be the best one to help them as their veterinarian. And so what we like to do is actually set you up with an email marketing campaign where the minute they fill out that form, they're getting a predefined set of emails that really communicate the value that your practice offers over your competitors. So is it your personal touch? Is it your great facility? Is it a combination of both? Maybe you want 2 or 3 days of emails going through different things. That's something that you can send out using our email module. And let me show you here as an example some templates that you can actually look at. We have a template library where you can pick from any one of our predefined templates, put your logo in, and send this out, write the content, and then send this out to your customer. So it's very easy to use. And the beauty of it is if you're using our web to lead form, which is part of our sales module, which allows you to take those leads off your website, you can have people automatically enrolled in your email marketing campaigns. So really, again, with our tool and our software, you're able to make this completely seamless from the person finding your website, requesting information, and then getting the nurture email going out. And in addition to the nurture email, another great tactic that most veterinarians use and find very effective is sending out a monthly newsletter, because a monthly newsletter is a great way to talk about new services you're running, maybe specials you have with products or food that you might be selling in your in your animal hospital. So those are another great way to use email marketing. So I guess I want to finish back on the Home tab. And let you know that, again, VetHubs can help you from building your website at the very beginning all the way through to making sure that that website comes up in the search engines, helping you advertise online if that's something you want to do, measure and monitor sales to your website, and then ultimately help nurture those people into new customers, new clients, and then helping your current clients stay engaged and understand what's going on with your website. And the final thing that I want to talk about, because it's a really important trend in the market today, is just like email is a great way to nurture your current customers, social media is critically important as well. And that's something that we also can help you measure and then actually manage your social media accounts. So I'm going to take you to the social tab. And you can see here on the social tab that we monitor anything being mentioned about your company online, your animal hospital online. And so you can see here in this chart how we've trended over time. So over the past several months, you can see the different mentions from different social media sources. One of the most important ways that we can help improve the number of times your company is being mentioned or engagement that's going on in social media is to manage your Facebook and Twitter presence. So we have a team of social media experts who can actually sit down and help you come up with a strategy on what kinds of things should you be talking about online, and then actually make that happen. So they would 12 times a month come up with something to write about and put that out on your Facebook or your Twitter page, or your Facebook or Twitter account, to keep your clients engaged. And we have programs that start very simply with just letting people know that the lights are on. So if someone's on your website and they click to your Twitter or Facebook page, that, hey, yes, someone's here and is actually using social media. We have programs that are simple like that, all the way up to programs where we're actively trying to recruit new followers and new fans to your presence online through things like contests and just outreach to the local community to try to get people to say, hey, your veterinary clinic is actually a great resource for our local community on what we should be doing with our pets, so we want to engage in that community. So again, we can help you go from building that website all the way through to client acquisition, engaging your current customers, and then taking you into the social media world to not only engage with your clients who are using Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms, but helping you recruit new people that might find you through that channel rather than using a search engine or a traditional word-of-mouth referral. So with that, I'd like to see if there's any questions, and be happy to answer them. So there's two things. In order to purchase a number, it's a distinct task from the phone script that changes the number on the website. So some people just want a phone number that they can put on their website. Other people want to be able to dynamically change the number depending on the source of the traffic. And under the Setup tab here, you have the ability to provision a number, search for a number. Let's say I want a local number in Orlando, 407. So this is going to return available numbers that you can purchase with a 407 area code. You can also look for toll-free numbers. So this process right here, you can then click to order the number, and set up where it rings and whether you want it to record the phone call or not. So that's all done right here on the dashboard, and you can do this. This does not require an account manager or support ticket, anything like that. The second part of the question is, well, now I have a phone number and I want to have it show up when people come from a Google organic visit or referred from Facebook. So in order to do that, you need to add this script, and you can see that the script uses your portal ID. So in this case, it's showing VetHubs, but if you looked at this on your portal, you would see, for one of your clients, you would see your portal name. So this script goes on their website, and then you have the ability over on the rules, and we have some whole webinars on this, so I'm going through this very fast, but you then have a rule here that allows you to set what to look for and what to change the number to. So in this case, we're saying, if the referrer contains google.com, go search on the website for 703-260-1932 and change it to 703-555-1212.
Great, and it was a related question. So are you able to track different organic phrases or PPC phrases with your phone tracking scripting capability?
So organic phrases, no. We had some interesting plans on that, but then back in November was when Google stopped sharing the keyword data for a good chunk of the traffic coming over, which led to the not provided keyword value for a lot of organic search. On pay-per-click, yes. What you can do there is you can control either at the keyword level or at the ad group level. You can set a override parameter. That's what we're seeing here. So you could actually say, if my destination URL included phone equals CPC, then run this rule. Change 567-7177 to 573-5941. So you could imagine that this rule screen would just be very long if you wanted to do it at the keyword level, which, again, it's supported, but it's a pretty arduous setup. What we often do for pay-per-click is we track it at the ad group level. So we make it a little bit more self-contained, and in some cases we even do it at the campaign level. So we may have 5 or 10 phone numbers, but they're really just focusing in on the places we spend most of our money, because we want to know, we spend a lot of money on this keyword, are we getting phone calls or not? But to then say we're going to put a keyword in, we're going to assign a phone number for 300 keywords would really be silly, because from keyword 100 to 300, or even 50 to 300, they get 20 clicks a month or something. So it would be maybe not worth the setup. But those first 2 or 3 keywords may spend a lot of money and get a lot of clicks. So we do want to track those separately.
Right, and if you're interested in more information on this, join our forum, because a lot of resellers have been debating this very issue on the forum, and there's a whole wealth of information and responses, including from myself and Chad there. The next question for you, Chad, is can you please clarify the difference between non-organic, organic, and non-branded organic traffic?
Okay, there shouldn't be a difference. Say that again, Adam. Non-branded organic and
Yeah, it was the difference between non-organic, organic, and non-branded organic.
Oh, okay. Let's go back and look at this. So my guess is the question is, on this screen, what's the difference between non-organic and organic, and then versus the next screen, which is non-branded versus branded organic? Great question. So this screen, this chart is really about focusing in on organic traffic, which is what we're trying to drive in SEO. So, but this does include both brand and non-brand terms, the organic visits in this graph. So let's just take 2 examples. Vet hubs would be in the red, and so would vet websites, because those are both organic visits, even though one's branded and one's non-branded. Okay, so that's what's going to be in that red bar. The blue is everything else. It's pay-per-click, it's referral from Facebook, it's direct traffic, it's a click from an email that goes out, it's everything else. When you get down to what we're basically doing is we're clicking into the organic visits when we start talking about non-branded and branded, and especially if you go to the next screen here, what we're saying is we're taking that red bar that was on the previous screen and we're now breaking it out into branded and non-branded. So I think that was what they were asking. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, and I think it's a great transition when you're doing a sales call, just like you did, Chad, to say, here's the big picture, and then within this organic bar, I can further break that out between those that use your company name and those that don't, particularly when you want to isolate the portion that your SEO can influence versus that which is driven by your overall brand. It's worth practicing. I know we do with our sales guys and our sales training quite a bit, and it makes for a good discussion. Next question for you, Chad. I noticed that you had to switch a couple of sites to support all of your features in the software. If I'm bringing on a new sales rep who doesn't have multiple accounts and they only have one, will they be able to show everything, or do you have plans to expand your demo account so that we can hit all these features?
The answer is yeah, we're going to expand the demo account. Adam and I were just talking about it before we got on the phone. So we're going to get a social media plan in VetHubs. We're actually going to be working on revamping the website a little bit. So we want to focus on making this something that everyone can use as a demo account. Obviously, also we need to get email marketing going for VetHubs as well. So, VetHubs is our demo account, and it's funny, but I was saying, Adam, if we put all these plans in place, that business may take off. We may have a massive VetHub, a vet marketing website going.
Cool. And that's pretty much most of the questions that came in throughout your 30-minute overview.
Great. The other big feature we want to talk about today are some really exciting changes that we've been making to really drive the engagement and the excitement that people are going to get when they see the content that we're creating. So I'm going to jump in right now and talk for a minute about some new things that just got rolled out this morning. Adam blogged about it. It's in our forum, but we also want to expose you to it right here in the demo. So quality's always been an issue. You want to make sure you're putting out the absolute most engaging content that you can possibly put out, and that's always been our commitment, and I think all of you have seen that in the writing content that we put out, but we want to continue to move that bar up and challenge ourselves to make it better and better. So these are new features that you can use basically without any change in price, because we really are committed to making sure that the quality of everything we do is continues to be as the best we can put out. So to that end, there's two things that we wanted to draw your attention to. The first one is under the campaign details screen on the admin tab. There is a tab here for instructions. Now this is actually not new, but we really wanted to make sure everyone knew this was here, so we're calling attention to it. Whenever our writers get assignments on a keyword, they are, as part of that assignment, they are shown the instructions for the campaign. Most of the campaigns, even though we ask all of our partners and our clients to help us inform our writers as best as possible, do not have any instructions in them. So our writers are given a keyword, and it says go write an article about veterinary websites, and they have to do their best to figure out what is that article supposed to be about, and they take it very seriously. They go do a little research and they write an article. But everyone can imagine that there are often times if someone went off and wrote an article about vet websites and started talking about how hiring a very expensive web design agency is the best way to go, where you spend $10,000 on a website, and then that article links to a site that's a value-oriented approach to things, or you can imagine there's lots of different scenarios there. That's not the best experience we can put out. So we want everyone to be writing instructions for our writers on SEO programs. That's what this is for. I wrote a quick little description here to give some of the value proposition of the VetHubs website product. So in this case, we want to make sure that they know that these are all CMS-driven websites. Makes it very easy to update content and keep the website fresh and up to date. We want to talk a little bit about our hosting service, because we think we have a really good hosting service, and we don't want the writer to write an article about $4 WordPress hosting when we're selling a premium hosting service that includes built-in support. So we want to make sure that's something they understand, that, hey, look, once the website's done, we're going to host it for you, and we're going to provide support to make sure that it's running, and if you ever have any problems or need support, you can give us a call. The other thing we want to talk about is that maybe when they're writing an article about how to pick your vet website provider, we want to make sure that included in that is the fact that your vet website provider should also have services like email marketing and social media management, because why have a guy who can just do websites when you could have a firm that could do both? Now, if you only did websites and you believed it was a core competency to not engage in other things, then you might want to make that clear here too. Don't go with a guy that's doing everything. Go with a specialist who only does websites. So this is your opportunity to give some instructions to the writers so that they can make sure that when they're putting that content together, that it at least is thematically correct. And this is especially true for some fairly technical keywords that we get in. I mean, obviously, vet websites is not that hard. Veterinarian websites is not that hard to come up with some content on. But there are definitely keywords we get in that are very technical, and sometimes there are cases where we even get acronyms in, and acronyms could be interchanged. There may be one acronym that could mean 3 or 4 different things. So we definitely need help when those kinds of keywords are used.
And if you're looking at this activity thinking, I don't want to do this, or I'm resistant to it because I don't want to bother my client, I think we want to encourage you to look at it a little differently. This is an opportunity for engagement with your client about their category. It's an opportunity to consult with them about the messaging and how to educate. Again, these are not sales pitches, and this is not marketing copy, as you know. It's SEO writing. But the more that the SEO writing is really educational and actually provides value, the more attention, the more buzz it's going to create, the better that link's going to be. And this is your opportunity to make that plug. That's why you're working with a US-based writer team. That's why you've got this great software. That's why you're watching this webinar right now. Take that opportunity to build the relationship a little more with the client, a little investment of time. But we see that it just drives so much better retention as well as better quality of output, which ultimately means the rankings move better.
Well said. And as this has been said many times in life, let's go to the images where a picture is worth 1,000 words. So this is another really neat new feature that we've added in, and I showed you in these 3 blog posts that I demonstrated how we are going to be adding in photos to all of the content that we create and that we syndicate out for our content and buzz creation campaigns. So let's talk a minute about the images. On the basic tab for every campaign detail, we've added a new option here called category, and this is your image category. So I'm just going to demonstrate what happens if I switch. So again, we're talking vet hubs. They do veterinary websites, so a lot to do with pets and things like that. But I'm going to switch it to, just for the sake of doing it, home and house. I'm going to update campaign. Now if I come over to the images tab here, you're going to see that a new set of images appears. Okay, so I actually have the ability to set that to any of the categories that are in this list now. I'm going to switch it back to pets. And I'm actually going to assume that the vet clinic that I was talking to is really a feline veterinary clinic. So they only deal with cats. Now, our pets category, you can see here the default images include pictures of cats and dogs. So our veterinarian is pretty particular about making sure that every image that goes up has something to do with a cat. So we're actually going to say we want to build a custom image library. So I'm going to click OK here. It's saying you're going to make a custom image library. Do you want to do this? Yes. And now what I have the ability to do is it takes the default image library and now moves it over and says, this is now a custom image library. So I can now start editing this. The first thing that I want to do is I want to get rid of any of the pictures that have just dogs, no cats. So this one doesn't have a cat. That one does. That one does. This one doesn't have a cat. This one doesn't have a cat. This one doesn't have a cat. Okay. So I edit that, and I'm actually going to just click back to images and just look at my new custom image library. So I've got one here that has a cat in every one, but I only have 4 images. So I'd actually like to add a couple more images. I'm going to click Add Images to Library here. Now I'm on a screen that's telling me a couple things. One is that for every campaign, we're giving you 5 image credits. So you can take the base set of photos and edit them however you want, and then you can use 5 credits to get more images for that particular campaign. Now I have already used 2, so it's showing that we have 3 images remaining, so we can now run through our scenario. The other thing that's really cool is that it shows you the target keywords here on the left. So you can actually just have the system go search for related images. So I'm just going to say, sure, search for veterinary web design images. Now, here's what comes back. It's not really what I'm thinking. I think I'd rather have images of families with cats or just cats by themselves. So I'm gonna do a different search. I'm gonna do a custom search here. And I'm gonna search for pet or cat pets. Search. Okay, so now I have back from our image service a list of images that match that search, those keywords. Now you can see one thing that's kind of neat is that the second image here, it says image is already in the custom library. So that's actually already in that list from the prior screen. Don't need to buy that. I can already use it. I can scroll down a little bit. Here's a couple more. Now here's one that actually says I can get it for 0 credits. What that means is that someone else across the HubShout system we've already purchased that image, so it's in our available library without having to use any of your credits. So that's cool. I want to do that. I want to add that for sure. And that's now been added to my campaign. So I can go actually back right now. I can just check that out. And we can see here this cat image is now in our campaign. We started with 4. I just got that one without having to use any of my credits. But I want to go in again and I want to find a couple more images. Or in this case, I'll just get one more image. So I'm going to search again for cat pets. Scroll down. All right, and here's one. Similar to that other one, but it's different enough. It's got a cat. It's got a bunch of other pets in it. Or actually, this is better. Group of cats. That's pretty solid. I'm a feline vet clinic, so this is what I want. So I'm going to click, well, I want that. I'm going to use one of my credits. And you can see here it says image queued. And then at the top of the screen, if I scroll back up, there's now one image queued, and I have the option to purchase it. Now, purchase in this case means that what we're going to do is we're going to use your credit. You get 5 credits, so you're just using one of your credits to get that image and associate it with your campaign. So I'm going to click Purchase. Okay, and it says image, and it gives a number that it was purchased. And it says, please wait, allow a few minutes for the image to be synchronized to all servers. Basically what that means is we're downloading the image, and we're putting it into a library so that we can then use it when we publish content, so we can insert that picture into the content. But in this case, what I can do right now is I can either click on view that image. I'm just going to click it, and there it is. And if I go back now and look at my image library, you'll see that I can get to the image right here. So there it is. So now I have 4. I added the 5. The fifth one here, I was able to just use it from the library. And then this new one that I added, the 6th one, I used one of my credits. So I will now have 2 credits left. So that's how the image library feature works for every campaign. And again, this is at the campaign level, so you can go in, if you have 1 or 2 campaigns or lots of customers, you can go into each one and come up with a targeted set of images. And the reason we're doing this, again, just like the writer instructions, is that we want to make the content as engaging and useful as possible. And so this is, we believe that having a picture in a post is far more useful and far more relevant to the person reading and engaging to the person reading than just a bunch of text. So any questions on that?
I think it's a very important point that Chad just made. If you've got clients who are calling you and they're concerned about their rankings, or they're concerned about the changes at Google, or they're concerned about their backlink profiles, what Chad has just shown you are 2 fantastic tools built into your software. You can say, hey, let's get together. We need to sit down and work through these writer instructions, develop the message, develop the bullets, try to make the stuff that's being created for you very educational and compelling. And secondly, let's look at these images that we're now nesting with that content and make sure it's visually appealing as well, because those are 2 things you can do that will directly impact the next batch of syndication and link building and content marketing that we do, which will help make that backlink profile stronger and clean up everything they're worried about. So we're trying to be very practical here and build things into the software that give you the tools to put right in front of that client and say, yeah, I hear your concern. That's where things are in 2012. Google's making a lot of changes. They're changing some of the rules. We're paying attention, and here's exactly what we need to do. I need an hour of your time, and let's go through this. Again, build that engagement. Show them everything you've got in your dashboard, your private label portal, which will communicate trust that you're in front of this. And not just that, here's how you do it, and walk them through it. I think this is really cool stuff. We're really excited.
Great. Okay, well, we're at the 5 o'clock hour. We really appreciate your time today, and we, as usual, will record this and post it. I hope that you can use this as a way to rehearse some of the demos. I know that the subject matter may be a little different, but if you can use the flow through the script as a way to sort of talk about what services we offer, as well as talk about the key metrics, because one of the things we really believe is that if you can get people and educate them early on the key metrics we're looking at, like non-branded organic traffic or conversions on the sales tabs, setting those expectations up front and defining that vocabulary early is going to help retain that customer longer than if you let them get into gut feels. I think I'm not getting traffic, or I don't think the phone calls that I'm getting are good phone calls. If you have the numbers and the data in front of you, you can always combat that type of conversation with hard facts, but you have to start at the very beginning, right in the sales process, so that 3 months from now when this customer signs up and is now challenging you, or 6 months, great, you have already defined, and you say, remember in the demo, remember when we kicked it off, all along every touch point you have with them, if you're defining and talking about these metrics that we discussed today, I think you'll have a much better chance of keeping that client and actually keeping them happy. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks again for coming. We'll see you next time.